Hello again guys, had this product show up in the mail today, so I thought I would unbox them, take a quick look at them, set them up with one of my phones. These are the Inateck Wireless Sport Headset, model number BH1001. If you remember, I've looked at several products from Inateck previously, a couple of other Bluetooth items, but I've never looked at a pair of headphones from them. But let's go ahead and jump into the box. Inside you'll see that we have this very interesting little pouch. We'll put that off to the side for just a moment. Here we have the instruction manual. Folds open this way, has lots of different languages on it. And then of course the most important part inside of this very interesting little pouch. Let's see, right here we have what appear to be a couple of earbud covers. Two, if I'm looking at it correctly. We have a micro USB charging cable. Comes with a nice little tie wrap. Branded Inateck. And of course, the last thing to find in here are the earbuds themselves. But looking at them kind of closely, you might be able to see it says L on one, R on the other, so they are designed for specific ears. Here's where the micro USB charging port is on the right ear. Kind of feels like the right top should be a button, but it's not. And actually, it looks like this is the multifunction button because I held it for just a few seconds and it started flashing. Just held it for a few seconds again and it is powered off now. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold it for a little longer. And now it's in pairing mode. So I'll go ahead and pull out the 1+2 and get it all paired up. There we go, it took a little bit of time, but it does show up there. It says Inateck BH1001. There you can see that. So I'll go ahead and tap on that. And over here it switched to just flashing blue and it does say connected. So at this point, let me go ahead and put these in my ears. Actually, I think I'm gonna run them back behind my head like this. So if I remember correctly, that's one of the key features of these, is they can go around your neck and if they fall off, they're supposed to just kind of clasp together like that. So you can kind of wear them all the time. And when you're ready to listen to something, you just pop them apart, stick them in your ears. Wow, that blocks out a lot of sound. All right, listen to a little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Again, hard to really impart what they sound like, but not a bad sound. It's a little bit bass heavy. Let me turn off the equalizer here on the 1+2. Okay. With the equalizer disabled, it's a lot more flat, a lot more neutral, just as you would expect. And wow, they're capable of getting pretty loud. See if I can just turn it up and let you hear a little bit. Switch over to a song that I've got locally on my device, so I'm not breaking any sort of copyright. But this is about as loud as they go. I've got it right up next to the microphone so you can hear it. So sitting about 1.5 feet away from it, I can hear this, but these are turned up all the way. This is as loud as it will ever be. And if I put my hands over it, it's really hard to tell without putting them in somebody's ears how loud they are, how much they're gonna leak. That's interesting. Apparently, if you're playing music and you clap them together, it stops the music playback. That's very, very neat. But I'm gonna take some time now. I'm gonna spend some time with these. I'm gonna test the battery life and everything, and I'll be back with you shortly. So we're back a little while later with these Inateck Bluetooth Sport earbuds, and unfortunately, I do not have good things to say. I do and I don't. The sound quality is still great. I'm definitely a big fan of the way they sound. They're decently comfortable when you put them in your ears like this, when you're sitting or when you're walking. However, I have tested them out while running, and I've run in them, I think, 3 times at this point. I tried them with the small included ear tips and these larger ones that were on it by default, and I cannot keep them in when I'm running at all. Like, I'll take 4 or 5 steps and they just both pop out. And they don't, by default, pop out and immediately clasp back together like I think they're supposed to. You can sort of manually pick them up and do this and they'll clip together, but they're not gonna just automatically fall off and, you know, stay together or anything. And the other problem is, when these inevitably fall out and I put them together while I'm running, they stay like this and bounce for the rest of the run. Now, I do like the fact that when they clip together, they stop whatever music's playing. So if you were approached by a friend or something, you needed to take them out and stop and talk to your friend for a second, that works really, really well. But again, the primary use case for these, at least as far as I was concerned, was for running. And because they don't have anything to hold them in place, they just immediately pop out. Sitting still and everything and doing this, they're not gonna pop out. But as soon as you start running and you get a little bit of sweat building up and you get a lot of momentum and everything, they start getting jerked on and they almost immediately pop out. So as such, I haven't really had a chance to test the long-term battery life. It says on Amazon that the battery life is about 8 hours of actual playback time and 200 hours of standby time. For me, as far as that's concerned, I've used them for several hours standing around and they do work quite well that way. I haven't had to stop and charge them at any point. I did charge them up immediately after I got them, but other than that, I have not had to charge them. But still, if you're gonna be using them, keep in mind 8 hours is the recommended playback time. Assume it will probably be less than that in real day-to-day type usage, but you're not gonna sit there for 8 hours straight listening to them unless you're on a plane or something. They do block out an awful lot of sound, so I'd be kind of curious to see how they would do on a plane. I may take them on the plane when I go to London, but if you were buying these to run in them, I'm not gonna say don't, but I wouldn't. Maybe it's the shape of my ears, maybe it's the way that I sweat, I don't know. but just as soon as I start running, they pop out. When I'm just sitting still, you can see they're perfectly fine. They're in there solidly. They're not coming out. But as soon as I start running, they pop out. So that's a bit of a bummer. I'll put a link to where you can find these down in the video description. Thanks so much to Inateck for sending these out for review. I definitely do love the way they sound. The fact that they come with aptX or aptX, whatever, means you can get even higher quality audio when you pair them up to a desktop or to a phone or a tablet or something that has aptX support. But for me, unless I'm just standing still or walking on the treadmill or walking around, they're not as useful as I would hope that they would be. I'm definitely gonna have to have something that loops over my ear. And I think I've got a couple of pairs coming that do exactly that. So be on the lookout for that video. But that's gonna be about all for me for today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up down below the video if you like this video. Subscribe to receive more videos when they become available, and I'll see you again next time.